Ah, we're back. We're back. Are we all working? Is everything, hang on. We're back. Testing. Are we all working? Is everything, hang on. We're back. Testing. Are we all working? Is everything, hang on. Let's, testing. Are we all working? Is everything, is everything as it should be? Testing. Are we all working? Is everything, is everything as it should be? Testing. Are we all working? Is everything as it should be? Testing. Are we all working? I'm gonna say yes. Yes, I just had the sound up there just to assure myself that I was coming through loud and clear. Right, where were we? Oh yes. That really is as far as it'll go. Oh. Well, this is a pretty pickle. Although, no, it's not, is it? But it might be. Harumph, I say. No, it's straightforward, isn't it? I'm being a pelican. Yeah, this is better. As ever, overthinking things. It's my one real sort of issue. Oh no, I'm not overthinking things at all, am I? So good. It just isn't time, surely. Aha, there you are. Right, now there's time. I've made time. Ha ha ha! Yeah, that's the stuff.
These tests, Ava, they are about us working together.
Thank you, Gene. Thank
the
you.
machine assisting the human. See how much better we work together. As a machine, I can enhance your morality.
Ba, 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 ba. Come on. Oh, you can do this. Thank you. Okay. That's just... I see. Bit of a swapperoonie going on there, I think. Assuming that's what that's for. No, that's the way in. Well done, me. Oh, still up against it, you know. I see. That is it. Okay. This is only going to get us halfway. But, halfway's better than no way. We need that in there, wherever that is. Okay. That one. Okay. Well, that's hardwired. Blast. So I suppose the question is, can we find that one just through the camera network? Oh dear, hang on. Let's delete. Let's delete. I've lost it again. No. She's right there. There we type. Make me feel little now. What's up, me down here? There we go. It was delete. That was that. Right, got you. It's wrong delete. The old switcheroo. Yeah. Right here. Definitely not out of these woods, are we? I'm pretty sure I didn't see anything connectable from here. Which means there must be some other wrinkle to this puzzle. So let's explore further. That's what we really want. Is to be able to switch that off, which would mean accessing this fellow here. Should mean one of those randomly numbers, which I think we've still got running, haven't we, on the other one? So this is fine. I think this might be it. Let's see. But let's see what we can see, shall we? Ah, there you are. Yep, we can do it. Marvellous. Let's do this first. Where are you? There you are. I'm not bothering with that. There we are. I like that delete button, let me tell you.
It's only alarm, no harm done.
Ha ha ha. Gareth Hunt there, who you might remember from those Nescafe ads. We're gonna get this. Here we are. I did reposition myself, didn't I? Certainly not sure. It's not. Yes, I did. Hee hee. We're through.
Are we still friends, Ava?
We're colleagues, Tom.
Close colleagues?
Work colleagues.
Interrupt the beam. Erupt the beam. Ooh. Okay, I think I need you up here. Bertha. I don't need that line of sight. Oh. I do need that broken though. That's. Oh no, I'm being a fool. Robots first. Oh. Gareth Hunt, of course, famous for making Bloodbath at the House of Death. I don't recall ever having seen that. Sounds like my sort of thing, though. Curtains, so we need another counter there. Does there we are count as a variant of there we go? Oh, well. You've spotted my ploy, haven't you? Splendid. We can go up that one. Sort of. I'll go up first, just to see. Ooh. Yeah, I think I've just... Oh, no, it's fine. No, it's not fine. Sorry about that. Terribly rude, terribly rude. Not quite sure why we'd need both. That might have something to do with it, right? I nearly fell. Ha! Beat you. Ha ha. Ooh. Now what? Got one of those sort of naughty jobs. This is rarely the solution, but okay, right. Okay. No. Wasn't quite what I was anticipating. Oh, haha, that's why. Camera there. Camera there. Blast. Right, we need to reposition you. That should do it, I think. Try that again. Falling like,
Ava, I don't wish to be heavy-handed.
Lordy,
The
is that
severity
time?
of your actions here are immense.
Oh no, it's all right.
Selfish actions could create an extinction.
Daft Apeth.
Do you understand?
That was a bit.
I get it.
So I wasn't really listening. Painfully close to the ooh. Rather minimalist. See, those are the puzzles that I think, yeah, work very well. So another floating gun, I see. Argument 50, thinking outside of the box. 20G. Wonder what that was for. We don't seem to have anything to discover here unless I... Oh. I now proceed to consider opinions opposed to my own. Theological objection thinking is a function of man's immortal soul. God has given an immortal soul to every man and woman, but not to any other animal or to machines. Hence, no animal or machine can think. The heads of the sound objection. The consequences of machines thinking it would be too dreadful. Let us believe that they cannot do so. The mathematical objection. There are a number of results of mathematical logic which can be shown, could be used to show that there are limitations to the powers of discrete state machines. The best known as these results is known as Gödel's theorem. The incompleteness of it shows that in any sufficiently powerful logical system, statements can be formulated which can neither be proved nor disproved within the system, unless possibly the system itself is inconsistent. The argument from consciousness. This argument is very well expressed in Professor Jefferson's Lister oration for 1949, from which I quote, "Not until a machine can write a sonnet or compose a concerto, because of thoughts and emotions felt and not by the chance fall of symbols, could we agree that machine equals brain. That is, not only write it, but know that it had written it. No mechanism could feel, and not merely artificial signal, an easy contrivance. Pleasure at its successes, grief when it vows fuels, be warmed by flattery, be made miserable by its mistakes, be charmed by sex, be angry or depressed when it cannot get what it wants." Arguments from various disabilities. These arguments take the form, I grant you, that you can make machines do all the things you have mentioned, but you will never be able to make one to do X. Numerous features X are suggested in this connection. I offer a selection, be kind, resourceful, beautiful, friendly, have initiative, have a sense of humour, tell right from wrong, make mistakes, fall in love, enjoy strawberries and cream, make someone fall in love with it, learn from experience, use words properly, be the subject of its own thought, have as much diversity of behaviour as a man, do something really new. Lady Lovelace's objection. Our most detailed information of Babbage's analytical engine comes from a memoir by Lady Lovelace. In it she states the analytical engine has no pretensions to originate anything, can do whatever we know how to order it to perform. Her italics. This statement is quoted by Hartree 1949, who adds, "This does not imply that it may not be possible to construct electronic equipment which will think for itself, or in which, in biological terms, one could set up a conditional reflex which would serve as a basis for learning. Whether this is possible in principle or not is a stimulating and exciting question suggested by some of these recent developments, but it did not seem that the machines constructed or projected at the time had this property." It's a short one. The argument from continuity in the nervous system. The nervous system is certainly not a discrete state machine. A small error in the information about the size of a nervous impulse impinging on a neuron may make a large difference to the size of the outgoing impulse. It may be argued that this being so, one cannot expect to be able to mimic the behavior of the nervous system with a discrete state system. Hangabout, is Tom descended from a Tom sat-nav? I think so, yes, I think that's canon. I think that's canon, Mr. Frightful. Yes. Kenny ever Vincent Price, Pamela Stevenson, the infamous Cleo Rocos, or fine actor. Like feature. Yeah, could be. Question is, who wrote that? Oh, blimey. Dennett. John Searle and I have a deep disagreement about how to study the mind. For Searle, it is all really quite simple. There are these bedrock time-tested intuitions we all have about consciousness, and any theory that challenges them is just preposterous. I, on the contrary, think that the persistent problem of consciousness is going to remain a mystery and mysterium until we find some such dead obvious intuition and show that, in spite of first appearances, it is false. One of us is dead wrong. The stakes are high. Searle sees my position as a form of intellectual pathology. No one should be surprised to learn that the feeling is mutual. For his part, he has one argument, the Chinese room, and he has been trotting it out basically unchanged for 15 years. It's proven to be an amazingly popular number among non-experts, in spite of the fact that just about everyone who knows anything about the field dismissed it long ago. It is full of well-concealed fallacies. By Searle's own account, there are over 100 published attacks on it. He can count them, but I guess he can't read them, for in all those years he has never, to my knowledge, responded in detail to the dozens of devastating criticisms. I've lost my place now. That's what you get for breathing. Devastating criticisms they could contain. He has just presented the basic thought experiment over and over again. I just went back and counted. I'm dismayed to discover that no less than 7 of those published criticisms are by me. 1980, 82, 84, 85, 87, 90, 91, 93. Searle baited me furiously in the pages of the NYRB, New York Review of Books, back in 1982, when Douglas Hofstadter, author of Eternal Golden Braid, Gödel Escher Bach, Gödel, of course, being mentioned in the pages over there. I think it's page 1 of the other piece. And I first exposed the cute tricks that made the Chinese room work. That was the last time Searle addressed any of my specific criticisms until now. Now he trots out the Chinese room yet one more time. Has the audacity to ask, now, why does Dennett not face the actual argument as I have stated it? Why does he not tell us which of the 3 premises he rejects the Chinese room argument? Well, because I've already done so in great detail in several of the articles he has never deigned to answer. For instance, in Fast Thinking, way back in the Intentional Stance, 1987, I explicitly quoted his entire 3-premise argument and showed exactly why all 3 of them are false, when given the interpretation they need for the argument to go through. Why did I repeat the 1987 article in my 1991 book? Because, unlike Searle, I'd gone on to other things. Why didn't I? I did, however, cite my 1987 article prominently in a footnote, page 436, and noted that Searle's only response to it has been simply to declare, without argument, that the points offered there were irrelevant. The pattern continues. Now he both ignores that challenge and goes on to misrepresent the further criticisms of the Chinese room that I offered in the book under review. But perhaps he has forgotten what I actually wrote in the 4 years it has taken him to write his review. But enough about the Chinese room. What do I have to offer on my side? I have my candidate for the fatally false intuition, and it is indeed the very intuition Searle invites the reader to share with him, the conviction that we know what we're talking about when we talk about that feeling. You know, the feeling of pain that is the effect of the stimulus and the cause of the dispositions to react. The quale, the intrinsic content of the subjective state. How could anyone deny that? Just watch. You have to pay close attention. I developed my destructive arguments against this intuition by showing how an objective science of consciousness is possible, after all, and how Searle's proposed first-person alternative leads to self-contradiction and paradox at every turn. This is the deepest mistake in my book, according to Searle, and he sets out to expose it. This is the deepest mistake in my book, according to Searle, and he sets out to expose it. The trouble is that the objective scientific method I describe under the alarming name of heterophenomenology, phenomenology being the arising of complex events for simple... that's epiphenomenalism. Sorry, ignore me. Heterophenomenology is nothing I invented. It is in fact exactly the method tacitly endorsed and relied upon by every scientist working on consciousness, including Crick, Edelman, and Rosenfield. They have no track with Searle's intrinsic content and ontological subjectivity. They know better. Oh, blimey. I like reading. We've done these. Oh God, no, we haven't. Do you know what? Yeah, go on. So, thought experiments are important because a lot of the time you can't carry out the actual experiment, and this is true not only in philosophy but in science as well. So when Einstein said, imagine that you're sitting on a beam of light going into outer space, well, that's a thought experiment. He wasn't going to say, let's get on a beam of light. Of course, you miss the point. If you say, well, it would fall off, or it would be too cold. So thought experiments are always useful, and you test your concepts by imagining what it would be like if such and such were the case. Well, in this particular case, I imagine what it would be like if I followed a program for answering questions in Chinese and giving it back in Chinese, even though I don't understand a word of Chinese. And that was a very useful thought experiment because it enables us to see that computation by itself isn't thinking. Consciousness exists only insofar as it is experienced by a human or animal subject. Okay, now grant me that consciousness. Definitely the most riveting part of the game, this bit. Isn't it, Gene? Isn't it? Okay, now grant me that consciousness. We've got to read it, because, I'm not coming back. Okay, now grant me that consciousness is a genuine biological phenomenon. Well, at the same time, all the same, it's somewhat different from other biological phenomena because it only exists insofar as it is experienced. However, that does give it an interesting status. You can't refute the existence of consciousness by showing that it's just an illusion, because the illusion / reality distinction rests on the difference between how things consciously seem to us and how they really are. But where the very existence of consciousness is concerned, if it consciously seems to me that I'm conscious, then I am conscious. You can't make the illusion reality distinction for the very existence of consciousness the way you can for sunsets and rainbows, because the distinction is between how things consciously seem and how they really are. Consciousness is a biological property like digestion or photosynthesis. Now, why isn't that screamingly obvious to anybody who's had any education? And I think the answer is these twin traditions. On the one hand, there's God, the soul, and immortality that says it's really not part of the physical world. And then there is the almost as bad tradition of scientific materialism that says it's not a part of the physical world. They both make the same mistake. They refuse to take consciousness on its own terms as a biological phenomenon like digestion or photosynthesis or mitosis or meiosis or any other biological phenomenon. He likes his list, doesn't he? I think we all really have conscious states. To remind everyone of this fact, I ask my readers to perform the small experiment of pinching the left forearm with the right hand to produce a small pain. Pain has a certain sort of qualitative feeling to it, and such qualitative feelings are typical of the various sorts of consciousness events that form the content of our waking dream lives. Hats off for the reading and the patience. Thank you, Sheen. Thank you, Sheen. This is genuinely the best sight reading I've seen for ages. Thank you. It feels like some kind of world record. We're gonna do this. We're gonna make it. The pain has a certain sort of qualitative feeling to it, and such qualitative feelings are typical of the various sorts of conscious events that form the content of our waking and dreaming lives. Such events are the data such the theory of consciousness is supposed to explain. In my account of consciousness, I start with the data. Then it denies the existence of the data. To put it as clearly as I can, in his book, Consciousness Explained, then it denies the existence of consciousness. He says correctly that when I wrote my review, I took his book to be as definitive statement of his position on the Chinese room and did not consult his earlier works. In fact, I did not know he had produced a total of 7 published attacks on this one short argument of mine until I saw his letter. He now claims to have refuted all 3 premises of the argument in 1987, but I've just reread the relevant chapter of his book and find he did nothing of the sort, nor did he even make a serious effort to attack the premises. Rather, he mistakes my position as being about consciousness rather than about semantics. He thinks that I am only concerned to show that the man in the Chinese room does not consciously understand Chinese, but I am in fact showing that he does not understand Chinese at all, because the syntax of the program is not sufficient of the understanding of the semantics of a language, whether conscious or unconscious. Furthermore, he presupposes a kind of behaviorism. He assumes that a system that behaves as if it had mental states must have mental states, but that kind of behaviorism is precisely what is challenged by the argument. So I have to confess that I don't find the weakness of his arguments in his recent book is helped by his 1987 arguments. We'll ask questions after this to make sure we took it all in. Ha! Jolly G. Ooh, hello? What's going on there? His arguments. That's the wrong piece of paper, isn't it? Yeah, that's from over there. I wonder if that's a bug. That might be a bug. Phew, is that it? I think that's it. Oh, hello. No, bit more. The Imitation Game by Alan Turing. I propose to consider the question, can machines think? A new form of the problem can be described in terms of a game which we call the imitation game. It's played with 3 people, a man, A, a woman, B, and an interrogator, C, who may be of either sex. The interrogator stays in a room apart from the other 2. The object of the game for the interrogator is to determine which of the other 2 is the man, which is the woman. He knows them by labels X and Y, and at the end of the game he says either X is A and Y is B, or X is B and Y is A. The interrogator is allowed to put the questions to A and B. We now ask the question, what will happen when a machine takes the part of A in this game? Will the interrogator decide, wrongly, as often, when the game is played like this as he does when the game is played between a man and a woman? These questions replace our original can machines think question and answer method seems to be suitable for introducing almost any of the fields of human endeavour that we wish to include. We do not wish to penalise the machine for its inability to shine in beauty competitions, nor to penalise a man for losing in a race against an aeroplane. The conditions of our game may make these disabilities irrelevant. The witness can brag, if they consider it advisable, as much as they please about their charm, strength, or heroism, but the interrogator cannot demand practical demonstrations. The game may perhaps be criticised on the ground that the odds are weighted too heavily against the machine. If the man were to try and pretend to be the machine, he would clearly make a very poor showing. He would be given away at once by slowness and inaccuracy in arithmetic. May not machines carry out something which ought to be described as thinking, but which is very different from what a man does? This objection is a very strong one, but at least we can say that if, nevertheless, the machine can be constructed to play the imitation game satisfactorily, we need not be troubled by this objection. It might be urged that, when playing the imitation game, the best strategy for the machine may possibly be something other than imitation of the behaviour of a man. This may be, but I think it is unlikely that there is any great effect of this kind. In any case, there is no intention to investigate here the theory of the game, and it will be assumed that the best strategy is to try to provide answers that would naturally be given by a man. Excerpts from Computing Machinery and Intelligence by Alan Turing. Jean below. Good night, sir. Thank you for dropping by. That's rather text heavy, but hope you brought something from that. Is there going to be a test? I feel there should be a test. It's been over 25 years since I last had this nightmare. Right. How do we get out of here? Through this way. We've got some puzzles to do now, after all that. Oh. Intriguing. Okay, what's up here? No, hang on, I have shoes on. don't think I've ever had that dream. Oh no, I have actually. No, I mentioned it. Slightly different flavour, the realising your naked dream. It's I have a dream where I'm not naked and everyone else is naked. Like I've missed a memo or something. And now, that's interesting, isn't it? Theoretically, we could drop our little friend in there, couldn't we? Got a feeling we might have to. But you can't get out. I can get out. I'm guessing that this puzzle might have two solutions, you know. Ah. Ooh. Yeah, so then what happens is I you know, there's often a locker room, so I go off and undress in a locker room, and then I come out and everyone's clothed again. You know. And they're not sort of like freaked out by the fact that I'm naked. It's just you know, it's just no, you've missed it, mate. And it's finished, mate. Yeah. So it's like I'm missing two memos basically. That's my dream. I have the test coming up. I've not revised for dream. And the magnet's over there. Oh, it comes over here as well. And over there. Does it? Just do all of that. In which case, it doesn't matter. In which case, I'm going to do this one first. Oh, glad I talked all that through. Okay, so if you just, yeah, thank you. We've got the cameras, haven't we? So we can do this. Oh, we did have some cameras. There you are. Over zoom. Hang on. What's that? Okay. I think I might have to go in the hole. Yeah. Embarrassment and lack of dream. My recurring dream is that I'm at uni, but don't know where to go or what to do. I tend to have themes. The missing shoe was a thing for a while. Yeah, not being able to get home is my main theme, I think. Cramped and confined space is another, like a stairway that gets tighter and narrow. Oh dear, like Indiana Jones style, or... As a child, I used to have a very regular nightmare that I was strangled by a giant anthropomorphic duck. Fortunately, not anymore. Was it a particular intellectual property, shall we say? The duck. We have a device. Try that again. Oh, we're doing 9:51. Oh dear. This might actually be time to stop, you know. So we've just done that again, haven't we? Blow. Hang on. Well, that was fairly straightforward though, wasn't it? So I can... Not there, not there. That'll do it. This gravity's wonderful, isn't it? Righty, right. Yep, I can still see me. That's good. I know I cannot see myself. What about you? I say myself, I'm not the robot. It's quite important to make that clear. Oh. Right, I think this will be our last puzzle for tonight. I think that's how we'll work it. And then we'll find someone to raid. Robots upstairs, it's the future. Alrighty. It surely isn't this, is it? Is it as simple as that? Well, who'd have believed it?
Learn to control him.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you, Ava. I am your friend.
Right, okay, so we're through. That was easier than I was expecting, that puzzle room. How are we doing? Whoa, no, like it's built that way, and I get to a point where I realise I can't get turned back. Oh. Daffy inspired. Parallel stack. Oh, that's my gimp. I visited the old jail in Aberdeen on a doors open day a decade ago. Going up into the tower was quite triggering. Oosh. How many times do you have to tell someone you're their friend before they believe you? All the time, all the time. Let friend tell you, Pella. Right, let's see now. Oh, that's all looking good. No, that was the window I wanted. So, apparently there are some other people streaming tonight. Who can we raid? I feel like it's been a little while now since we've raided Susako. I'm also hoping to get a thing. Yes, yes, I'll make a note of that. Let's not do it all in caps. A. Right. So, before we do that, let's go over to our end screen. And let's give thanks. Let's give thanks. We like to give thanks. So I would like to thank Maniac Psycho for the host, and Curtains for the moderation, and for you lovely people all for turning up and watching me struggle with relatively simple puzzles by making them too complicated in my head. And a lot of reading as well. There's a lot of reading tonight. It's not me, it's the game. It's the game that, There's lots of stuff about Gödel and Hofstadter, of course. Hofstadter, the first person to, the author of the first book to be sold on Amazon was by Hofstadter. So, yes, we will be back on Tuesday with some Little Massive Police Department fun in Elite Dangerous. So I do hope you can join me for that. And until then, it remains for me to thank Steve Kirby for making me the man I am today. And, yes, until we meet again, fly safe, and I shall see you in the black.